What's up, Buck? I am Doug with D&E in the Garage, and today I'm going to insult your Jeep. Today I want to make fun of every Jeep model, all right? I'm going to make fun of and get out into the light some of the stereotypes and the things that we all know about other Jeeps and that we don't like to accept about our own Jeep. The purpose is definitely comedic. It's not meant to be anything personal against you specifically, but hopefully it'll bring us together as a channel and a community, all right? Because there are some things out there that we know people are out there saying about our beloved Jeep model that we don't really want to admit. And we know there's some things that we are saying about other people's Jeeps that they don't want to admit. So I'm going to go in order chronologically, starting with the XJ, ending with the JL. Why starting with the XJ? I'm viewing pre-XJ Jeeps, CJ Jeeps, the way you view presidents before FDR. You can't view them with a modern lens and critique them in such a way. They are above criticism. It's been long enough. They were great enough. So we're going to leave the CJs alone. We're going to start with the XJ. We're going to go all the way to the JL. I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of thumbs down on this one. We're probably going to lose all our followers. Sorry, Eric. I just blew up our channel. Let's get into the shit. All right, XJ guys, how do XJ guys see themselves? All right, and I'm trying to take myself out of it. I'm not gonna put myself in this, but XJ guys see the XJ as on par with like the Jeepster or the Wagoneer, as just this long-running nameplate. It's an icon of Jeep and kind of this perfect balance. XJ guys can't imagine dailying a Wrangler. The idea that somebody could break in and steal all your tools with nothing but an X-Acto knife cutting through a soft top does not appeal to XJ guys. So they are under the impression that they are in this huge icon Jeep that is the perfect balance between capability, family-oriented fun, SUV utility. How does the world see them? How does the rest of the Jeeping community see the XJ guys? Cousin Eddie. When the XJ guys roll up, you serious, Clark? 100%. The XJs are the Steve Urkel of the Jeep world. Out there on the trail, they snap an axle in half, holding everybody up. They're just like, did I do that? Who knew you couldn't put 35s on a Dana 30 with 355 gearing? Who's buying XJs today? High school kids who are getting their first vehicle, people whose credit score is below 600, and that guy who shows up with a homemade truck bed trailer to pick up your broken refrigerator to sell for scrap. Those are the people that the Jeep world associates with buying XJs today. How do XJ guys spend their money? Dual steering stabilizers, 50-inch light bars, and ironic bumper stickers that say something like 4 doors more Horser. Guns don't kill people. I do. If you were to roll up on two XJ guys talking out on the trail, what are they probably going to be talking about? There's probably going to be having a conversation about, at least mine's paid for. That's how every XJ guy justifies driving an XJ, not a Wrangler. Well, the bank owns yours, and at least I own mine, right? Let's get at the YJ. YJ guys have a huge holier-than-thou complex, all right? Because somebody once told them that their Jeep shares a bunch of parts with the CJ7, so they say, it's a Wrangler, but it's basically a CJ, right? They are the last of the true Jeeps. After that, it becomes way too commercial and mainstream, but if you buy a YJ Wrangler, you are still a true Jeeper. And you can hang with any CJ5, CJ2A, Willys MB, anything out there. That's how they see themselves. How does the world see them? It's just a Wrangler, man. Nothing that special about it. It's kind of an uglier version of the TJ. Who's buying the YJ? What demographic is associated with the YJ? Anybody who saw the first Jurassic Park, for sure. People who really enjoy welding patches onto their frame, and people who are willing to enact violence to keep the Jeep wave just between Wranglers. There's a ton of animosity out there about the Jeep wave in the Jeep community, who gets it, who doesn't get it, and if you ever see a charge of people leading against giving the Jeep wave to anything but a Wrangler or CJ, they're probably driving a YJ. How do YJ guys spend their money? Smiley face covers for their vintage KC lights and scale models of the 93 Sahara. If you were to roll up on two YJ guys out on the trail, they're definitely having a conversation about how their Jeep is much closer to a World War II era MB than it is the TJ. They never get tired of explaining to you why their Jeep is really a CJ and not a Wrangler. How do ZJ guys see themselves? Much like the XJ guys, they see themselves as a perfect balance of capability and utility. They're the last Jeep that was designed by AMC. They view themselves as just a stable, all-around platform. How does the world see them? I don't know. Lifted minivans, grocery getters. Basically, when you see when the rest of the Jeeping world sees a ZJ, they assume it's some soccer mom who couldn't afford a minivan. Who buys ZJs? What demographic is associated with the ZJ today? Right? The ZJ owners are kind of like Jeep hipsters, right? They know that their model is not quite as well known as obviously a Wrangler or even an XJ, and so they are Jeep hipsters that if they had more money would be driving like a Comanche or a Wagoneer, but they don't, so they have to get the wood-sided ZJ and try to pretend like it's some, you know, crazy limited edition, everybody else would have wanted it type vehicle. Who else? Preppers. Yep, 55-year-old preppers with big bushy mustaches. They're out there buying 5.9 ZJs, stocking the back full of MREs and live ammunition, and just sort of waiting for the apocalypse to come. The last group of people that you can associate with buying ZJs today off Craigslist or whatever are going to be your AutoZone O'Reilly's employees, 20-year-old, who needed a winter beater because their slammed EF hatch doesn't make it out of the driveway when the weather's bad. A common phrase between ZJs is probably going to be a question of where they can find WJ parts to beef up their front end, because how do you make a ZJ better? You fill it full of WJ parts. On to the TJ. How do TJ guys see themselves and their vehicle? The TJ is supposed to be the last of the true Wranglers, all right? The last Wrangler with the 4-liter, the last Wrangler with that very limited amount of technology. TJ guys think that the TJ is the perfect bowl of porridge, all right? It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too basic like the YJ, it's not too advanced like the ones that come afterwards. It is the quintessential Wrangler to TJ owners. How does the rest of the world see him? It's 80s tech in a 90s box that for some reason you're paying 2000 money for on Craigslist still. TJ prices are insane. All right, you might as well just go and finance a new JK or something. What demographic is out there buying TJs? There's a lot of them, but the biggest umbrella category, bros. You got your high school bros, high school age bros who had too much money for an XJ but not enough money for a JK. Then you have your college lax bros who are pursuing a degree in entrepreneurial business in a small college town that no one's ever heard of. Then you have anybody who lives within 20 miles of an ocean who owns a fishing pole, surfboard, or sea kayak. And finally, New England hippies who couldn't find a Subaru Forester on Craigslist in their price range. How did TJ guys spend their money? Bud Light, tribal tattoos, and those stickers that say life is good, or also tire covers that say life is good. Common phrase can be heard, somebody stole my blank CDs from the back of my TJ. The worst part, they cut my soft top to do it. And the blank here could be anything. For your New England hippies, you got your Fish CDs. For your beach bums, you've probably got something like, I don't know, Bruce Springsteen. And for your college lax bros, I have no idea. I don't know what that particular demographic of the world listens to. Pretty Lights? Is Pretty Lights still a thing? When I was in college, Pretty Lights was a thing. But that's what they're going to be talking about, how somebody broke into their TJ with an X-Acto knife, and they aren't pissed they stole the stuff inside, they're just pissed that their soft top's cutting out. Let's move on to the WJ. This one's gonna hit home. I'm a WJ guy, all right? I'm also clearly XJ guy and whatever, you get it. I'm a Jeep guy, all right? I love all these Jeeps, and here's a spoiler. I'm gonna finish this up by saying something nice about each one, all right? I can't leave all this negativity out there in the world. WJ, how do WJ guys see themselves? Well, they see themselves as a better version of the ZJ, of course. Better miles per gallon, more comfort, better factory options, and a better V8, which is not true, but they do see themselves as having a better V8, the 4.7, than the 5.2. I don't know. How does the world see the WJ? Basically a safety scissors version of an off-road vehicle. The not so subtle step between rugged off-road outlaw and $50,000 luxury car. The middle ground between those two, the Jeep WJ. Who is buying WJs today? What's the demographic? XJ guys who grow up and have a family now, for sure. Anybody who wanted the new Dodge Durango but couldn't even afford the down payment. Anyone whose needs include enough room and comfort for a family of 4 to take a road trip, but also the capability to tow a Harbor Freight trailer full of scrap metal and broken furniture down the freeway a few times a year. Anybody with those 2 very specific needs gravitates towards a WJ. How do WJ guys spend their money? That's easy. Stock JK rims off Craigslist, LED light pods off of eBay, and ratchet straps from Walmart so that they can strap their stock size spare tire to the roof to try to fit in a little. What's a common thing you're gonna hear 2 WJ guys talking about when they're out there on the trail? You're probably gonna be saying something along the lines of, yeah man, I'm real happy with the budget boost, but I think I am gonna go for that 6-inch Clayton long arm kit when my tax return comes in. Let's move on to the JK and the JL. Like I said, JK and JL are getting grouped together. JKU and JLU are getting grouped together separately. I know you disagree, JK guys, but that's kind of part of the joke, like I said. How do JK, JL guys see their vehicle? It's a Wrangler, man. It's a Jeep. It's the logical progression of the Jeep brand. It's the necessary improvement and progression of the Jeep Wrangler, while not in any way being any less. Why would you even ask me that? How does the rest of the world see the JK, JL? You ever heard of glamping? Glamour camping? Kind of that. You get a YJ guy or even a TJ guy and you put him in a JK, he's gonna have some things to say about the various electronic systems, nanny systems, this, that, and the third. The rest of the world is seriously concerned for the future of Jeeping when they see the JK and the JL. Who is out there buying JKs and JLs? Basically XJ, WJ, ZJ, TJ guys who finally got their credit score above 600. People who never owned a Jeep before but always thought they were cute. College-age girls who like the beach, and 40-year-old men who like the college girls. How do JK, JL people spend their money? First, obviously, on their monthly payment for the Jeep. Designer sunglasses and tire covers that have more personality than the person behind the wheel. If you were to come onto JK, JL guys out on the trail, well, they're probably going to be having a conversation about how they're not going to lift it anymore until after it's paid off. JKU, JLU, these are the Unlimiteds. I guess I should have just called them the Unlimiteds. Whatever. The Unlimiteds. How do Unlimited guys see themselves? Fun, practical side of the Wrangler. If he couldn't buy this, he was gonna have to get some kind of minivan, God knows what. So yeah, it's awesome that the JKU exists to expand the Jeep brand to people who might need more space. It's a family-oriented Jeep, man. What could be better? How does the world see the Unlimited JKU, JLU? Basically, the tricked-out Chevy Duramax of the Jeep world. You know, kind of like a rolling brodozer. And I did steal that term from JTM, brodozer. The assumption for anyone who owns a JKU or a JLU is that if you didn't get the JKU or JLU, you were probably going to get a Range Rover or like an F-150 Platinum. So who's out there buying these Unlimited Wranglers? Well, you got your mothers of 3 who hate minivans. You got your 40-year-old fathers going through midlife crises. You've got 19-year-olds with their parents' money. CrossFit instructors for sure, and generally anyone who thought the late model Hummers looked good. How are they spending their money? Rockstar rims, Rockstar energy drinks, Rockstar the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Jennifer Aniston. If you were to come on a J2 JKU, JLU Wrangler owners and you were to overhear them, they're probably having a conversation that goes something like this. I don't get it. Why is everyone always waving at me while I'm driving? I don't know them. What is going on? There it is, friends. There's a good chance that I just insulted your Jeep. That's right, your beloved Jeep. Now would be a good time to leave your hateful comment down there in the squawk boxes about how dare I? What do I know anyway? Who the heck is that guy to say that about my Jeep? All right, let's bring it back, and now let's say something nice about each Jeep so that we can leave on a high note and I don't lose too many subs over this video. This was an ill-advised video. Somebody should have stopped me. XJ, all right? It's true. The XJ is an icon, and it brings Jeeping to a lot of people who otherwise maybe would not have been able to. How many of you was your first vehicle an XJ, all right? Especially if you're my age. I'm 30 now, so right around the time when I was getting my license and all my friends were, there were a ton of used XJs. And I know so many people who their first car was an XJ, whether it was a 2-door, whether it was a 4-door, or a 5-speed, whatever. And it was such a good vehicle that it brought them into Jeeping. And the reality of the matter is, I know you Wrangler guys love to make fun of the XJ, but you can make one of these things crazy capable. They're compact enough that they fit out on the trail. You can get decent axles under them. They have enough power for it. I know they look goofy. I know that they have a unibody, which makes them inherently weaker than a full-frame Wrangler, but this thing, these XJs are an icon of the Jeeping brand. And in reality, the Jeeping brand would not be what it is today without the XJ. Let's move on to the YJ. All right, the YJ is actually very similar to a CJ. Right, they shared a lot of parts. Yeah, AMC made some moves with the YJ to try to bring it and mainstream it and make it safer. Right, they brought it lower to the ground. They made it wider. Right, these things were necessary. Without these changes, the Jeep brand doesn't survive. The YJ was the absolutely essential stepping stone between the old style, weird, unique subset, esoteric Jeeps that only fit for a small group of hardcore people into the mainstream brand we have today. And a lot of people say, well, we don't want it to be a mainstream brand, but it has to be. It has to be. These niche market vehicles don't survive. Jeep doesn't survive without the YJ taking that first step. As you can tell, still getting over my cold. Without the YJ taking that first step towards the safer, friendlier, more universally acceptable Jeep. That's why we love the YJ. And in reality, those square headlights are iconic now. There's only 2 Jeeps that have them, the XJ and the YJ. And so if you see a Wrangler with square headlights, there's no question. You don't even have to be a Jeep fan, and there's a good chance you may know those square headlights mean a YJ. You know, that's why the YJ is in Jurassic Park. What else could they have put in Jurassic Park? They could have put a Blazer. They could have put a Bronco. Arguably, in '93, the Bronco was a much more iconic vehicle than the relatively new Wrangler. They didn't, though. They went for the Wrangler because that YJ is an incredible vehicle. Incredible vehicle. Let's move on to the ZJ. The ZJ is the reason that Lee Iacocca bought the Jeep brand. Yes, he liked the Wrangler. Yes, he liked the XJ. No, he did not like the Wagoneer or the Comanche. There's a reason they both did not survive. He saw the AMC plans for the ZJ, and he knew Lee Iacocca is a friggin' genius. I've said this 100 times. He is my absolute personal hero. He was a genius. He knew where the car trends were going years before anyone else did. He's the reason we have minivans today, and he's the reason that the Jeep brand is still around. He saw the plans for the ZJ, and he said, my God, you've done it. He knew that it was the perfect balance of rugged off-road capability with comfortable, accommodating on-road manners. It was a revolutionary vehicle. And one of the reasons the ZJ is so cool is because they were pioneering a new frontier with the ZJ, the luxury SUV brand. So ZJs, even though they were only made for 5 years, 6 years, 5 years, technically 6 years because they made them in '92, but they sold them as '93s, whatever. For that short run time, there are so many different variations because they were every year, try something new. Let's give it this feature. Let's give it that feature. So you can find a ZJ that absolutely fits your perfect personality and needs. And it 100% led to what the Jeep brand is today. And again, you may not like what the Jeep brand is today, but you have 2 choices. Either it progresses to what it is today or it dies. It goes away. And your Wrangler and your Cherokee and your everything else is just a memory like the AMC Pacer. Because when Lee Iacocca bought AMC, well, he didn't really buy AMC. He bought Jeep and let AMC die, all right? You have the ZJ to thank for that. TJ, oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The TJ is my favorite Wrangler, so it was kind of hard for me to actually put together. I've never owned a TJ. I've never owned any Wrangler, to be honest with you. It's always been on my to-do list, but they're so expensive on Craigslist. You know what I mean? But I will someday. I will own a Wrangler, and hopefully it'll be a 5-liter TJ. Actually, hopefully, or 5-liter, 4-liter. Hopefully it'll be the 4-liter LJ, the first unlimited, 2-door, longer wheelbase with the 6-speed. I think they only made it for 1 year. I digress. The TJ truly is the perfect bowl of porridge, all right? You have all of the rugged simplicity that Jeep was known for with just enough tech, all right? You get the Chrysler fuel injection system on the 4-liter, which makes it a ton more reliable, right? You get coil springs in the front, which give it's much better on-road manners, all right? And considering a lot of people with Wranglers still want to be able to daily that thing, that kind of thing matters. And ultimately, it doesn't take very much away from its off-road capability. The TJ is what cemented the Wrangler as to what it is today, right? Without the TJ, if they had changed less from the YJ to the TJ, the TJ, the Wrangler might have faded away kind of like the Bronco did. It might have been like, you know what, that thing's a relic. We don't do that anymore. Buy Cherokees, buy Grand Cherokees, come out, something else replaces it. But they changed just enough that they said, wow, this is a modern vehicle and this thing needs to stick around. And for that, we love the TJ. It's classic. Brought back the round headlights. TJ is freaking awesome. The WJ. I'm going to try to keep this short because like I told you, I'm a WJ guy. I started this channel to rap about WJs. I ended up selling my daily WJ, so this has turned into kind of an XJ channel, and Eric's got a ZJ, but my first love is XJs. In fact, or WJs. In fact, my first love is that WJ. I know it hasn't been on the channel in a while. I know it's actually out of focus right now, but that's Willie. I love WJs. Here's why. WJs are the apex, the absolute pinnacle of Jeep trying to find a way to give you incredible on-road comfort handling while still making a vehicle that has the capability to be totally useful off-road. WJ is the absolute tip. Before the WJ, everything leaned more towards off-road. Excuse me. Everything after the WJ leans a little bit more towards comfort, if not all the way towards comfort. WJs are comfortable. The seats are comfortable. They're quiet inside. They're a little bigger than your XJ or your ZJ inside, right? But the packages, the options, the factory options on WJs could be incredible. And Overland, out of the box, is an incredibly capable vehicle, all right? You got front and rear limited slip differentials, which means you can have true locked 4-wheel drive off-road. You get a little bit extra lift on them. You got with the 4.7 a relatively good towing vehicle. You get the 242 transfer case, which in my opinion, it may not be the strongest, but it is absolutely the best transfer case if you're gonna daily drive. You get the 4-liter, which enough said. You get a solid front axle. You get the possibility for limited slip differentials, and you get all that in a comfortable, easy to daily drive package. You've got some amenities, not too many. For that reason, we love the WJ. JK, all right? JKs, especially when they came out, got absolutely shit on. And it's the funniest thing. Whatever Wrangler is the current one is the one that everybody hates. And then as soon as there's another one, everybody's fine with that one. Everybody hated the JK. Obviously not JK guys. And then the second the JL came out, everybody hates the JL, and now immediately the JK is a real vehicle again. Here's the thing. The JK and the JL really are just like the this cough is killing me. It makes it so hard to record. I'm leaving the coughs in. I've made the decision. I got nothing to hide. I'm leaving the coughs in. I apologize. Coffee helps. Coffee helps everything. Just like the YJ, what, 20 years before the JK? The JK and the JL are necessary progressions. Without them, the Wrangler doesn't get to continue to exist. Safety standards change. What people expect from a vehicle and what people need from a vehicle changes. And if a vehicle like the Wrangler that is so specific and so purpose-built does not adapt, it goes away. Absolutely goes away. Look at the Bronco. Everybody loved the Bronco. I don't think you could find a single person in the world who wanted to see the Bronco go away, but it didn't adapt. And it got replaced by the Explorer, right? And that could happen to the Wrangler. I know it's terrifying, but that could absolutely happen to the Wrangler. If it doesn't adapt, it just goes away. So the JK, with all its technology, its bigger size, its safety, that's necessary. Has to happen. JL, the JK was around for what, 10 years, 8 years? It was time, 10 years, right? I don't know. I can't do dates right now. It's necessary for the Wrangler to continue to progress. It's hard when we make a big jump. The jump from the TJ to the JK was big. It was a big jump. If you get a TJ and a JK next to each other, you're like, whoa, you know? And then you're allowed to calm down for a little bit. And the jump from the JK to the JL is not very much. There's new technology, but it's basically the same Jeep. I submit whatever comes after the JL will be another big jump. It'll be 2028 or something, 2030, and they'll put out the new Wrangler, and it's going to be a big jump, but it's going to be a necessary jump. And for that, we love the JK and the JL, because without that big jump, that huge lurch forward, we lose the Wrangler brand. And even though I'm not a Wrangler guy, every Jeep person on the planet, no matter what Jeep you drive, you don't want to see the Wrangler go away. That is the icon. That's the last icon of our brand. Right? We need to keep the Wrangler alive. The JK and the JL do that. JKU and JLU, the Unlimiteds, the school buses, right? Wrong. Wrong. These, again, are necessary installments to the Jeep brand. They're easy targets, right? Jeeps are notoriously small and nimble off-road. These things are kind of land yachts, right? Jeep is notoriously fun and sporty, again, land yacht. With a V6 of all things. I forgot to mention that on the JK. People hated the fact that it had a V6. Straight 6. We do straight 6. You can't keep doing straight 6. The world wants V6. It is what it is. The world wanted a Wrangler that they could actually safely put their kids in the back of. They could take some groceries, they could go on a road trip. Without the JKU, those people buy a Toyota RAV 4Runner. Or a Land Rover, or a Ford Explorer, or something else that is not a Jeep, all right? Because they need that. Families need that, all right? We have one daughter, and it surprises me. I never thought about it, but it has changed what I view as an acceptable daily vehicle. The reason I got rid of my 2002 WJ is that it just had enough problems, and I don't mind being on the side of the road for an hour in January. I kind of love it. Fixing this, oh, this broke, I just got to fix it so I can make it home. Can't do that with a kid in the back. I can no longer get a single cab pickup, which really bums me out because I prefer a small pickup like that. The point is that having a family changes what vehicle you can get. If you're a Wrangler guy, there's a good chance your wife's saying, there's no way you're putting the kid in the back of the YJ. How about that? So what do? You get some pennies together and you go and buy yourself a JLU. And now you can safely put the kid in the back. It's necessary. It's a necessary progression. Right? It's another thing that helps keep the Jeep brand alive. And I don't like the way they look myself, but I do like them for other people. Does that make any sense? Like, my wife wants one. She wants a lime green JKU, and someday I will get that for her. And that's the other thing. Everybody acts as though because they're so big, there's no possible way they could be good off-road. They're incredible off-road. If you get a Rubicon JKU, JLU, you have an incredibly capable vehicle. And that's all there is to it. The JKU and the JLU are absolutely essential vehicles. They've opened our brand up, and for that, we love them. All right, that's all there is to it. You may have noticed JoJo decided to join us. She was jumping at the door, so I decided to let her in. I hope you can forgive me for the mean things I said. Know that I did it out of love. I just wanted to bring us closer together. By all means, leave me a comment down there in the squawk boxes. I want to do something that I meant to do on our last update video. I'd love to do roll call. I get comments all the time. Someone will be like, I'm in Australia, I'm in New Zealand, I've got all kinds of places. I'm in New Jersey, United States. That's where I'm at. I'd love to know where y'all are from and what you're driving that brought you to this channel. It doesn't have to be a Jeep. I'm just curious, you know what I mean? I find that stuff interesting, and it'll help me. Let me know. Maybe I can cater some videos towards your videos. I know we got a lot of ZJ guys out there that are hoping to get more ZJ videos from Eric. We're working on it. They are coming, all right? So, if you don't hate me after this video, by all means, consider liking the video and subbing to the channel. You can leave me any questions or comments, hateful or otherwise, down there in the squawk boxes. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.